presentation is on gender in Japan, and I think the second question. Here is my C.
この前のだけど、今日も撮った。
それなりに付き合いは長いけど。
君も男だったりする感じ？なんだよ、冗談だろごめんね。
何それ。冗談って全然笑えないんだけど。
いや、だから悪かったって。君は普通に女の子だって思って。
どういう意味？私は普通にって。
おい、しかし、マジで知らない。でも、長い付き合いって言うなら知ってるって思うだろ、普通。あいつだって別に隠してねえじゃん。
冗談じゃん。じゃあ話したいことって？
Popular pop culture has a profound effect on the collective consciousness and brings to attention social phenomena and presents opinions opposing the current narrative. The perception of gender is a large ongoing social issue that many pieces of media attempt to advance. Sega's Project Sekai Colorful Stage is a video game released in 2021 with the story previously shown referred to as Musified by fans, released in 2024. Through this event, it is confirmed that the theory that the character Akane Mizuki is transgender and thus challenges Japanese conventional views of gender. The presentation of Mizuki offers a framework of viewing gender as a fluid concept that is self-defined but also reaffirmed by performance. This differs significantly from traditional interpretations of gender, which is a rigid concept that is defined by one's sex instead of chosen by throughout one's life. Project Sekai therefore shows the capacity for popular culture to illustrate the impacts of gender and how the ability to choose one's own gender may change a person's life. Mizuki's story is treated with extreme respect and accurately depicts the emotions and experiences of transgender people, contradicting to many offensive and sensationalized depictions. When Mizuki has her secret of being trans revealed to her long-lasting friend Shirin Nobuhana, she is distraught and can't bring herself to face her. Similar to Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis, she is afraid that all the people in her life will leave her for a superficial reason, with their relationships flashing before her eyes, as if she were dying. Though the story may have a dark element to it, the engagement with the story invites the player into Mizuki's life and thoughts, allowing them to more easily empathize with the fears and troubles of trans people. By unlocking some content by story progression, it makes many players that may otherwise ignore event stories watch, especially due to the surprisingly dark nature usually unseen in Project Sekai. The realism displayed in her story allows people to be more engaged with the character and thus realize the problems trans people undergo, while being given the ability to critique rigid gender structures. Though the current mainstream Japanese view was the majority in support of transgender rights years ago, this has recently supplied significantly. Specifically, belief that trans people should be allowed to use the bathroom associated with their gender fell from 52% to 31% from 2023 to 2025 in Japan. Furthermore, the Japanese Supreme Court upheld a ruling stating that transgender individuals need to be, amongst other things, sterilized in order to change their gender marker on legal documents. These highlight the need for trans representation in media as an important vector for changing the opinion of the populace in favor of trans rights. Thus, in turn, positively affects the people by convincing them of the needs for legal freedoms for trans people. By having trans representation in popular media, it acts as a remedy for transphobia and bigotry towards trans people and illustrates the fluid nature of gender. Akane Mizuki's story in Project Sekai is a perfect example of how pop culture can influence popular opinions on gender and how its fluid nature can both be affected and affect our own lives. Despite the dark themes, it can allow people of all ages to empathize and even realize their own gender identity. Regardless of the support of queer people dropping in Japan, popular culture has the ability to reverse this and expand the knowledge of transgender issues. That's it. I wouldn't be surprised, but I also think
Yeah.
it's majorly impacted by these negative depictions of trans people. Seeing this compared to this is a very different way of interpreting what a trans person actually is, and would definitely impact how people view trans rights. Definitely explores how it's changed over time as well. As of now, I do not think it will get better soon. I hope that it will eventually.